If your Notion workspace is a mess and you keep opening other tools just to avoid it, in this video I'll show you exactly how to import your Notion workspace, organize it, and rebuild it faster with Obsidian plugins. If you haven't watched my last video, I talked about finally switching over to Obsidian after 6 years in Notion, plus using 5 other apps on the side. And now that everything is in one place, it's time to bring my Notion workspace over. So let's start with exporting it. Once you're in your Notion dashboard, it's a good idea to clean things up first so you can archive or delete any pages that you don't want to move. And the fewer the pages you import, the easier it'll be to stay organized later. Now to start with the export, go to Settings, then General, and then under Export, Workspace Content, Export, select HTML as your format, Current View, include everything, and the last two are optional, but you can skip this and then just hit Export. There's also another way you can do this by heading over to a page in your workspace, clicking the 3 dots. So HTML for the format, current view, everything, and then include subpages, and then hit export. You'll get an email notification when your export is done and ready to download. You'll also have an alert in your inbox to download your zip file. This can take about 5 minutes depending on how big your workspace is. So you can work on Obsidian while you wait. But if your export is already ready to download, you can click download and save it to your downloads folder and then head over to Obsidian. Because I didn't want to mix my messy Notion workspace with my main vault, I created a new one. So once it's somewhat organized, I can pull from the Notion vault when I need something. And later on in this video, I'll show you how to link those 2 vaults together. So to create a new vault, go to the bottom of the page and click Manage Vault, then create a new vault. You can name it Notion Import, then choose your location, hit Create, and it'll automatically open up your vault. So I have my Notion vault set up already. From here, I created my folder structure to make it easier for me to clean up later. So I have an Assets folder. So all the images from the Notion import will go here. And then I have my PDFs. You can also create a folder for your databases, or bases for short, your templates, and then you can add all your templates like daily notes for journaling or YouTube script templates in your templates folder. You can also create a notes folder plus a journal folder where you can add your daily notes. And if this is going to be your main vault, you can also use the para method, which is projects, areas, resources, and archives. There's also the pala method, which is the projects, actions, learning, and archives. I'm combining these 2 methods and using the parla method. So it's projects, areas, resources, learning, and archives. So the projects are the active projects with an end date. Areas are the long-term or ongoing projects. Resources can be for future learning or whatever you're interested in. For learning, this is for things I'm learning on an ongoing basis. So for example, Spanish. And then for archives, these are inactive projects or completed projects or anything I don't want to delete. So I'll just add them to the archives folder. So if your Notion vault is going to be your main vault, you can use one of those 3 methods within your vault. So before you can import your Notion workspace, go to Settings, then Community Plugins. And there's going to be a button here that says Turn on Community Plugins. Then you can click Browse and then search for the importer plugin. So you'll hit Install and then Enable, and then head back to your dashboard. And then once your importer is installed, it'll show up on the side menu here. So once you click on this, under File Format, choose Notion, choose the zip file from your downloads, and then for your output folder, call it Notion or Notion Imports. And for Save Parent Pages and subfolders, click Disable and then hit Import. After that, you hit Done. And now, depending on how your Notion workspace was set up, you'll see a bunch of folders and loose files. So now you can gradually work on organizing things. But for now, the easiest thing you can do is use the Control-O shortcut. So if you know the file by name, you can use this shortcut to find the page or the file you're looking for. So for example, Data Professional. Now, if you want to move this file to one of your folders, you can click the 3 dots and then move File to, and then move it to whatever folder, or you can click and drag any of these files and then move it to any folder. Now, instead of organizing your PDFs and photos inside Obsidian, you can go to your Vault folder on your desktop and then sort by type, and then hold down the left mouse and then drag it all the way down. So for the PDFs, you would click Control X and then go to your Assets folder, then PDFs, and then drop all your PDF files here. Same thing with the images. So any JPEGs or PNGs, you can select them all and then move it to your Images folder. So that's the easiest way to do it instead of dragging and dropping files inside of Obsidian. So you're all set now, but if you plan on using this as your main vault, then your next step is to start customizing and organizing your vault to fit your workflow. So there's going to be a lot of files that you'll want to delete. So you go under Settings and then Files and Links. And then for deleted files, the default is the Move to System Trash, which is your recycle bin. And because this was set to Move to System Trash in my main vault, all the files I deleted went to the recycle bin, which took up too much space in my hard drive. And that led to an insufficient storage message when I was editing in my last video. So to avoid that, change it to permanently delete. So if you know you're not going to need those files again, make sure to change the setting. And this will keep your drive from filling up and not have that storage message pop up if you're using DaVinci Resolve. Also turn on auto update internal links. So if you change a file name, it'll update all the links to the new name. For default location for notes, change this to in the folder specified below, and you can set it to your notes folder that you created earlier. Same thing for default location for attachments. Select in the folder specified below and then select your assets folder. And then later on, you can move that file to the PDF folder or images folder. Under appearance, you can choose your accent color or theme. You can also choose a font, change the font size, or change your zoom level. Once everything is imported, here's how to rebuild some of the Notion features that you might miss. I'm going back to my main vault since I have everything installed. So under core plugins, these are already installed by default. So you can enable or disable any one of these plugins. For example, by default, the audio recorder is disabled. So you can click on it to enable it. For now, the main ones you can use are the daily notes. And you can use this for journaling. So you can change the date format. For file location, I have it under journals. And then for the templates, I have a templates folder under assets. So I set this template location to the journals folder. You can click this to have your daily notes show up as soon as you start Obsidian. The next core plugin is the page preview. So you can hover over a file to preview what's inside instead of clicking into it. And also templates for the folder location. This is set to the templates folder under assets. And now for community plugins, you click browse. There's the templater plugin for automation. So if you have any templates that you used in Notion, like YouTube scripts, you can use Templater for that. There's also Kanban. So if you're familiar with Trello or use the project boards in Notion, this is the same setup. If you use Notion Calendar, there's a calendar plugin. For this plugin, you can click on a date and this will create a new daily note. You can also set it up to create weekly notes. So you can click the week number on the side to create a new weekly note. If you're using Notion Calendar, you can use another calendar plugin called Full Calendar. And just like in Notion, you can use the ICS link and then add it to your settings for the full calendar. So now that you customize your workspace, there's one more plugin you can add, and that's the Data View plugin. And this lets you turn your tags into auto updating lists, and you can add those on any note. Once you have the Data View plugin installed, make sure to enable all of these settings. And this is the dashboard. Using the page preview feature I talked about, I can hover over a file and add a tag to this file. For example, this one is tagged today. It'll show up under today. I have another tag for this week. So anything tagged this week will show up under here. Then there's next week, and then in progress. So anything tagged in progress will show up under here. I'm in the reading mode, but I can change this to edit. And here's an example of what the data view code will look like. So I can add any tag in between these quotes. Same thing here. This is tagged this week. Then I have another tag called favorites. So all my most used files will be showing up under favorites. And then anything tagged journal will be listed under here for quick access. Data view is a bit advanced for this video, so I recommend watching these 2 videos to learn more. One more thing you can use is bases. So under core plugins, make sure this is installed. So if you want to create a new base, you go to the side menu here, create new base. And I'm using bases for tracking all my YouTube videos. So anything tagged video will show up under all videos. And then I could create a new view, for example, in progress. And this will list all the videos I'm currently working on. So bases is like the Notion style databases. And then you can add tags to any note and then use filters to customize your views. So any plugin that you have installed, it'll show up on the side menu. So for example, I can create a new board, which is the Kanban board. And then I can add a new note in here and then drag it to the next column. And then for templater, these are all my templates. That's inside the templates folder under assets. So I have a template for book reviews, YouTube scripts, newsletters, and then journals. So I have a daily note, monthly, quarterly, and weekly. Set this up for the templates folder under assets. Once I enable the folder templates, this will pop up and I create a new folder template. So I select a folder and then select the template that I want to use. So once I have that set up, I can right click on reader and then click new note, and then it automatically create a new note with my book review template, which is already set up with my properties. So the book title, author, read and finish dates, and the tags. One more thing you can do is if you have 2 or more vaults, you can link them together. Of course, you can just copy and paste your notes between vaults. But if you want to keep things separate and still connected, you can go to your Notion vault, right click a file, and then copy Obsidian URL, and then go to your other vault, type in the name of the file, highlight it, and then Control K, then paste the link. So when you click that link, it opens up the exact note in the other vault. There's probably an easier way to do this, but I'll figure that out later. So if you're thinking about creating another vault, you can do this if you want to keep your personal and your work notes separate, or you can test out new plugins and templates. Or like me, I have a main vault and then another vault for recording Obsidian tutorials. So your Notion workspace is now fully imported and customized and organized in Obsidian. And if you're using multiple vaults, they're all connected. That means you're ready to start working in Obsidian full time without losing any of your old Notion setup. And if you've been seeing that personal curriculum trend going around, in my next video, you can nerd out with me and I'll show you exactly how I set mine up.